Welcome back to House of the Dragon. I'm sure we're all still in mourning after the last one, and I'm assuming this one isn't going to be very fun dealing with the aftermath. Oh joy. Do we get to see Corliss's reaction first? Because I'm sure that's going to be really fun. Aww. They had like the most stable, nice relationship in the entire show. I'm with the both of you. This is not a great day.
The traitor dragon Maylis by your king!
Your king got his ass kicked. This is bullshit. I hate you, Kristen Cole. Ugh. Maylis deserves better. The people don't seem as overjoyed with it as I was kind of expecting.
Don't they realize we won the battle?
Yeah, they all seem to be rather horrified. Well, good. I'm glad you don't get the satisfaction you wanted out of this. Fuck you. Now, how pissed off are you, Allison, on a scale of 1 to 10? I think she's a little afraid of him. As you should be. Like, I know he got really, really messed up. Let's see the extent of that damage. He wasn't very good to you anyways, don't worry about it. They're really making an effort to not show him. Kind of put you in the same shoes as all the people they're trying to conceal this from, I suppose. Ooh, you looking like Anakin Skywalker. Ew. That could have been worse, but that's not great. Oh. Oh, do we have to stay with this? Oh my lord. Yeah, that's bad. Book accurate, but very bad. Oh, stop.
Someone will have to rule in his stead.
No, you didn't. Like, you do not miss a beat, man.
What was his part in this?
I could not say.
Why would you protect him?
Our largest.
I mean, maybe he's afraid of him too.
After some marital spat.
Excuse me?
Do you take issue with me, Sir Alfred?
It is merely that the gentler sex heretofore has not
Oh,
much privilege
my
to the
gosh.
strategies of battle.
You've seen no more battles than I have.
Damn straight.
Prop up another in his stead. Time is ripe. If we can strike King's Landing before that dragon...
It seems like you're losing a grip on your council. You're gonna have to do something about that.
The phrase. They control the crossing at the Twins.
Tell her.
It's not a bad plan. A little risky, but still. Hello, my favorite noodle boy.
You should have indulged them.
I need them alive. I came here to raise swords, not corpses.
Really?
But now you see what...
I would have killed them.
Then perhaps you could try less fighting and more persuading. You take my meaning, then.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean by it, but I'm sure I'll find out soon.
Are you
Didn't
listening?
think we were going to see you again.
A dragon. Then she has exceeded your terms. She sent two.
I mean, you did not specify a large dragon.
More fearsome. My sympathies for the death of your grandmother.
Not exactly really feeling the sympathy, but I mean, sure, you know, thanks for what you can give.
Your Grace.
Not now.
Please don't be rude to your handmaidens. They're just trying their best.
Whispers tear down stone. Or break shields.
Whispers can turn into a roar.
Subjects. What you cannot do, let others do for you.
Not some bad advice.
She was fierce.
She was.
She did not always care for me.
That's an understatement.
Would you give this to your grandsire?
Oh, I think I know what that is.
Amen.
Time for more creepy visions. Well, this is weird.
My favorite son.
Oh. Ew? I don't like that.
Prefer it.
I like the goose myself.
Is that a reference to Laenor and Rhaenyra's conversation?
Is there any gold left in your coffers?
Enough to keep this small establishment you see fed and warm.
So no.
I shall guarantee the payment myself.
It's really adamant about not involving Rhaenyra.
What would you call the husband of the queen?
The king consort?
There it is then.
Consort.
Oh.
That last bit seems unnecessary, don't you think?
I think it's kind of important, Damon. Ooh.
I myself served in this role for my husband. I am well prepared to do it again. Aemond is a fearsome dragon rider. His skill is best employed in the field, but my experience is needed here, at this table.
No offense. I agree, Your Grace. It must be Prince Aemond.
Damn.
Aemond is the next in line. It must be him.
Sorry, Ellison. You have exactly one person at that table who is on your side. You smug little shit. Ugh. I hate him and I love him at the same time. Like, he's awful, but he's really good at being awful. Keep it together, Ellison.
How I can try.
I'm feeling a lot of tension here.
No one is to leave or enter save with our consent. Merchants.
Interesting. That was Allison who made that decision in the book.
My brother will have room.
You would have me turn beggar.
Better than dead. Oh, stop showing this poor dog. He treated you like shit.
Has your loyalty faded, or does it flourish only at night and flee the sunrise like a moth?
Oh. Call his ass out.
I did not give you leave to speak my name.
Oh, damn. Tyraxes.
You fear a dragon, leagues away, when mine own sits outside your walls.
Fair point.
I'm sure has consented to this.
He will do as his queen commands.
That does lend us some comfort. Though it occurs to me
You're pushing your luck a little bit.
Or three.
Does the Queen intend to raise up a new lord?
Ah, you want Harrenhal.
You want Harrenhal?
Sure, why not?
What does her grace desire?
Bent knees.
Well done, Jace. That was actually not half bad diplomacy. Whether you can actually back up what you just promised, we'll see.
What I hear in the wind.
Cool.
Cries of anguish. These are crimes against the innocent that any upright man would repudiate.
They will perhaps think better of their decision if their children's lives are staked on it.
So that's what you were implying.
Is that the kind of army you would raise? In the name of power, it's the weak and the women who must endure.
You should listen to her.
But I'll cross you no further. I'm sure your tactics are, after all, approved by the Queen.
Ooh, she got you there.
It's a pity, don't you think, that you never knew your mother?
A message, Your Grace.
She's got no chill. I love her.
Lord Amos has pledged his banner to you.
I don't remember the Brackens joining Rhaenyra, though. I thought in the book it was very much Brackens are for the Greens, Blackwoods are for the Blacks.
The wealth you brought back from Yee and a shy, inspiring awe. I wonder if any of them knew it was all for her.
Oh, that's so sad.
Rather, I would sail into the west and be lost.
You have done so before.
What good would that do anyone?
Cost to yourself. You yourself may do as you see fit.
Well done, Bela. A lot of good diplomacy in this episode. The youngins seem to know what they're doing.
I wish you to go to Harrenhal. Find out his state of mind and his intentions.
It might be a little more difficult than you think, Rhaenyra.
Have you any message for him?
Get your ass in line. That's the message.
To finish our last conversation.
I can't tell if Rhaenyra knows that that's not going to go well and is sending him to his death, or if she actually thinks that will go well.
The Blackwoods have exploited the war for the crown to visit atrocities upon their old rivals.
Proudly carried the banner of House Targaryen. Red dragon on black.
Looks like your plan didn't work out so well, Damon.
We should have expected nothing more from a man who ordered the slaughter of a child in his mother's arms.
Damn.
Dragon or no,
We shall not raise our banners for a tyrant.
Well done, Damon. You just fucked it up. Well, Aemond, you have what you've always been wanting.
Was it worth the price?
I love you, Helena. Even as terrible a mother as you were to them, I suppose it must not feel great to see him in such a state. Did he call out for her? I could barely hear that. So I have some news that's going to make you a little mad.
I'm proud of you, Jace. You've done our cause a great service.
The tie that binds us. No harm can come
And
to
you
you.
are my son, and I did not give you leave to go.
She makes a good point.
Vhagar is big, but Syrax is quicker.
So was Meleys.
Meleys fought 2 dragons, and one of them is slain.
Well, no.
Shall I wait here until we are all destroyed?
I hear what you're saying, but it's really risky.
Are you suggesting we put a Malister on a dragon? A Tarly?
It's better than death and defeat.
Good suggestion, Jace. Go ahead. Start making moves.
There could be scores of them.
Alright. Pretty solid episode. Lot to discuss. This was an interesting episode. It's less about the aftermath of Rhaenys's death than I expected it to be. Like, that's certainly a pertinent and kind of ongoing thing for a couple of the characters in it, but for the most part, it was a lot about, you know, taking next steps. Like, how are we going to now gain an advantage in this war that we are very much on the back foot of, for the Blacks at least. The episode pretty much opens up with Meleys's head, you know, being paraded around King's Landing, which does not have the effect that the Greens were hoping for, or at least Kristen Cole was hoping for. People see it as an ill omen, which I found rather interesting. We're yet again getting a lot of emphasis on the small folk and their role to play in all this, which I really enjoy. Specifically on a few small folk who will be very important in the future. Again, not giving away too many spoilers. We got a few bits here with Hugh Hammer, who, again, just keep an eye on him. He'll be important for sure. Alicent's desperation in this episode was very palpable. Like, she's very angry and probably very frightened of Aemond, as anyone should be. He is you know, the most powerful person in the realm at this point. A super capable fighter, the rider of the largest, you know, weapon of mass destruction that anyone has. He's in a pretty good spot, and that puts Alicent and a lot of other people in some pretty bad spots. Because Aegon is for sure not going to be a player in the game for a little while. That scene of them, like, peeling his armor off was disgusting. Didn't like that. Reminded me of the grayscale moment with Jorah in Game of Thrones. A little less gratuitous, thankfully, but it was still pretty bad. I believe in the book his armor is actually fused to his body and they cannot remove it, like, ever. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was fused to his body and they did remove it, kind of how it was done here, but I want to say they couldn't remove parts of his armor because it was literally melted into his skin. But he still suffered some pretty horrific injuries, pretty akin to what he did in the book. You know, burns over half his body, broken bones, internal injuries that, you know, we're not 100% sure of. And because of that, Aemond is now king, basically. You know, they're calling him the Prince Regent, but he's the king. And looks like he will be for quite some time. Daemon in this episode was making some rather bold moves as well. I didn't expect him to so blatantly say that, oh yeah, like, when this is all done, Rhaenyra will not be queen. I'll be king. She'll be my consort. He phrases it rather politely with the whole, you know, we'll rule together if that is her wish. But he seems pretty explicitly hell-bent on making sure he is the one wearing that crown. But his leadership style seems to be failing him. He tries to control the Riverlands through, fear by having the Blackwoods commit atrocities in order to get the Brackens to come to heel. And that severely backfired on him. Almost all the other River Lords are like, no, we will not be bending the knee. We would rather die. Fuck off. And it would seem Alice Rivers is the one kind of trying to guide him away from that. Like, you really think that's a good idea? Making the small folk your enemy? I don't think it is. So I'll be curious to see if she does start to guide him in a less heinously messed up kind of way. And he apparently really loves his incest. I mean, he's married to his niece, which is already weird and groomy and screwed up. But he's having like fantasies of his mother that he never knew. That's weird. That's really weird. And Rhaenyra the whole episode is really struggling to like maintain her rule. Her own council are kind of just disregarding her at this point, which, I mean, if I were her, I know ruling by fear isn't the best idea, but considering she gave orders that everyone just straight up ignored and then put forth their own ideas, maybe it wouldn't be the worst to set an example with one of them. Like, that's horrible, but they view her as a weak woman who doesn't understand war. Which, to her credit, she does sort of admit to. She's like, I'm not the most war-savvy person here. That would probably be Daemon. But Daemon's not here, so I need to do something about this. And I definitely understand her frustrations with, being a dragon rider herself, but having to stay cooped up at Dragonstone, not able to actually go out there and fight for the crown and the throne that she, rightfully is owed, if anyone is rightfully owed the throne. So I'm curious to see what this plan with Mysaria she's started, like what errand has she sent her handmaiden to go do in King's Landing. I thought it was going to be, find some dragon seeds. We need dragon riders. But that suggestion isn't made until the very end of the episode, so I'm genuinely curious as to what she's doing there, because I'm drawing a blank as to what that might be leading to. And her naming Corlys's hand is just a good move, honestly. One, she doesn't want him to just bail on them after losing his wife. Two, he is also a pretty war-savvy person, and he's their, master of ships. He controls the sea. He's a pretty important person to keep close by. Might have been more prudent to have offered him the position herself, but sending Baela honestly wasn't the worst move. Kind of tug at the heartstrings just a little bit. And I did really enjoy in the episode Baela, Rhaena, and Jace all, stepping up to the plate when it comes to diplomatic affairs. They're young and inexperienced, but they seem to be pretty good at it. Baela manages to convince Corlys. Jace convinces the Freys. Rhaena did not seem as successful with Lady Arryn, but, we'll see how that goes. Because she wasn't doing a half-bad job kind of playing a strong hand in that situation, but Rhaenyra did kind of put her in a bad spot by being like, here's two hatchlings that clearly can't defend you from much of anything, but, we'll see how that goes. But let's jump into the technicals. Writing of this episode was pretty good. It was very slow-paced, as I expected the episode after the last to be. Again, you need time to slow down after such a momentous situation. I did appreciate that consequences were definitely brought up in a few different ways in this episode. Daemon, playing the strong hand with innocence definitely did not play in his favor. Rhaenys' death leaves a lot of things kind of iffy in the air. Aegon being so injured and Aemond having such a strong hand to play definitely puts Alicent and a couple other people in some really awkward spots. I would say almost everything in the episode made sense. There weren't any situations where I'm like, that's weird and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I do find the lack of mourning for Rhaenys a little frustrating. Like, there's definitely scenes in there. You have the opening two shots being Rhaenyra and Corlys mourning her, and then Rhaenyra has a scene with Baela where they're again talking about her and everything, and then one more with Baela and Corlys again, discussing like the asset they have lost and how tragic it is for them. But I expected a bit more. People seem upset that she's gone, but not as upset as I imagine the audience is, so it was a little weird that there wasn't a little bit more with that. Acting in the episode was very solid. I really liked that silent moment of panic that Alicent had in the small council meeting when she is denied the regency and it's given to Aemond. Daemon in the episode was also quite impressive. Matt Smith is doing a really fantastic job with such a complex, horrible, yet not entirely horrible character. And seeing all his fears and issues being brought to light while he's trying to claim power for himself, and it all just blows up in his face and he's not really sure of himself or what he should be doing. I thought he was playing that really, really well. Cinematography in the episode was very good, but it seemed to not be quite as imaginative as it has been in previous episodes. Again, not bad by any means, but there's a lot of conversations where you have a lot of mid to close-up shots of characters, so there's just not a whole lot going on with the camera work. There are a few moments that I think stood out. I really liked that shot of Aemond looking at the Iron Throne with like the lightning lighting up the area and everything. That was very good. And I also really liked the framing of the shots with Jace treating with the Freys at the twins. I thought that was quite good as well. Editing was quite good. There are a lot of really long, drawn-out shots. Like coming to mind is a couple of those moments with the treating at the twins, Alicent's like near panic attack as Aemond is sworn in as the regent. Several of the conversations that Rhaenyra has with her council or with other members, but overall is again slightly unimaginative, kind of like the cinematography. There's nothing really to write home about. That being said, again, it was still quite good, just not maybe as strong as some of the previous episodes. Costumes and makeup in this episode were great. There were a few new outfits that some of the characters had on that I really liked. Jace's like leather cross-stitched tunic I thought was really cool looking. Rhaenyra had a new dress on that, again, she was just serving looks in. Even Daemon's like really intricately woven leather stitching on his tunic I thought was very nice. I think we've seen it before in a previous episode, but I got to see it a little better here. So I was quite impressed. I don't believe we got to see set design. Was good, but I think this is maybe the first episode where we didn't get to see really anything new. I'm not going to dock at any points because the set design that we currently have is so fantastic, but I did think it was noteworthy that this is perhaps the only time we haven't seen a new set brought to light, because I'm almost positive that he's like 95% of the twins was just CGI. I don't think there was much of a set built for that one. Still look good, but I don't really count that. But yeah, fantastic sets, just nothing new in this episode. And finally, the sound design, which as always is really fantastic. Highlight of the episode for me was again Alicent's near panic attack, just because as soon as Aemond grabs the ball when he becomes regent, there's like a drop in tone to the entire scene, and slowly everything else becomes muffled except for Alicent's breathing. That was some really nice quality sound design to, one, put the emphasis on her, but also to audibly cue in the audience to the shift in power that's just occurred. It was really nice. I really liked that moment. And that gives this episode an 8.7 out of 10. A very good one. Again, the show has yet to disappoint me, but a slight dip from the last one, I would say. There were, again, just mild pacing issues, certain lacking of mourning for Rhaenys that didn't fully bother me because it is addressed and it's there, just not as much as I would have liked. And some of the imagery, cinematography and all was just serviceable. Like it didn't excel, go above and beyond like a lot of the episodes have. But regardless, I still enjoyed it quite a bit. And the introduction of them looking for new dragon riders is certainly very interesting. I'm very curious to see how that all plays out. because they've introduced a few characters this season that might be important to that, is all I'll say. So I am once again very excited for the next episode, and I will see you all there. And that's about it.